was at a rehearsal at a bass player's house, Pete Scott's house in Brixton, in South London. Excuse me. I was back in England after having lived in New Orleans for a couple of years, and I had to leave the country for visa reasons. And I was in England, missing New Orleans hugely, and Dr. Jon was someone who hadn't been to England for a long time, and was just kind of like a legendary name that you saw on the back of record covers and record liner notes. And then one day in Time Out, they said, playing next week in London at the Half Moon in Putney, Dr. Jon. And they used a new local London band called Diz and the Dormant. Diz is a really good piano player, plays all that Professor Longley and Jack Dupree stuff. And I was a fan of that band, and Diz would very kindly let me sit in. I was just a kid, I was about 19 or 20 or something. And they were backing up. The rhythm section's band was Peter Scott and a drummer called Kieran O'Connor. Kieran was an absolute walking disaster zone, but he was a really nice guy, very hugely funny, dreadful alcoholic, but he could really, really play. He could really play. And so that was the band, and Matt came over, that was the backing band, and they did a couple of gigs, and then for some reason the guitar player couldn't do it, so they suggested me, and I got the gig playing guitar. And so I went down to this rehearsal. I took my guitar on the bus. I didn't have a car, so I took the bus to Brixton and carried my amp and the guitar all the way up Brixton Hill in the sun, blazing sun, and got there and carried up 4 flights of stairs, was exhausted, and there's Dr. Jon. And I was kind of in awe, because he was one of my idol piano players. I loved the way he played. And he was a larger-than-life character, and he was in a bit of a grumpy mood, because he was looking for his medication, if you know what I mean, and was jonesing a little bit. And so the rehearsal was kind of disorganized. There wasn't a piano, there were no instruments, it was just me and my guitar. And so he spent most of the time sitting by it waiting for a phone call, so he could get his stuff sorted out. And I just sat in the other room and just sat there and just started playing the guitar, and I was playing some funk, and he would occasionally come in and he'd kind of look down and then go out, and he'd come back in and I was still playing. And then he came in and said, okay, well, just talk through the set tonight, look, I'm going to do this, and we passed the guitar back and forth, and he showed me what he was going to do on the guitar, and then we started talking about New Orleans. And he was surprised to find that I'd just come back from New Orleans. I'd lived there for a couple of years. So he was kind of curious. And being a piano player and a guitar player, myself, and him being a piano player and guitar player, I kind of knew what piano players wanted to hear from a guitar. And he kind of dug it. And then, so we did this gig, and the gig went great. And then the next day we were at a recording studio in London for the BBC World Service, and we did this session. And then everybody split, it was just me and him. And he started playing a Little Willie John tune, and I said, oh, and that was my favourite. And I said, you know this one, I played with a few bars on the piano. He said, I didn't know you could play piano. And I said, so we started chatting, and I said, am I doing this right? And I played some Professor and some Tipatina. And he said, oh man, all right, so tomorrow you play piano and I'll play guitar. I said, great, so we switched round. And we became friends. And the big thing, the bonding thing, was that we both, I had loved Little Willie John at that time, and I'd been wearing out this Little Willie John's greatest hits record, and he loved Little Willie John. I was surprised that I even knew who Willie John was. And yeah, that was it. That was the first time I met him. And I played with him on several occasions, and I was in his band a few years ago for the last record he made. Yeah, sadly missed. Talked to Mac Rebenak, good cat.